All right, let's get this thing going. Circa Million. We're heading into week 4, week 3. I had an interesting reaction to my week 3 picks. I thought it was an abject effing disaster as I was watching the games Sunday morning. And you can see the results on there. It wasn't good, but the Vikings game was a coin flip. I knew it was going to be a coin flip. And so that's what you expect. I expected that game to be a coin flip. Brandon Staley did Brandon Staley things. Then the Vikings went haywire at the end after Staley gave them an opportunity to win. And so, that one was legit 50-50. Minnesota was in position to win the game. They didn't. And that was that. The Tennessee Titans, I said it on this show last week. I have no idea how they're going to score. And I picked them anyway. That probably was just not a good pick. And that little 2 slot on there, I don't really track which ones I put. I go chronological. But the week before, I had the Bears, which is a pick that I hated. I was on here last week saying, I have no idea how Tennessee's going to score. But I picked them to cover a 3.5 point spread against Cleveland, who's got the best defense in the NFL right now. That was a bad pick. So of all the picks, you see the 3 losers on there, that one was not good. That, I think, was just a bad selection. Green Bay, another red X on there. Green Bay, the contest line, Green Bay -2. They ended up being a 1.5 point dog, and they win by 1 game. They win by 1 point. So, I got really bad closing line value there, 3.5 points on the other side. So if I would have gotten Green Bay plus 1.5 points, which is what the line closed at Caesars, then boom, would have been fine. We would have been a winner there, but we weren't. Now, I have to say, that game was a tale of 2 situations. When Derek Carr was in the game, the Saints kicked their ass. When Derek Carr was out of the game, the Packers came back and won. So I'm not so sure that was about the Packers. It might have been more about the Saints. So I don't know. We have to take the L there, although, the line movement could have gone better for us that way. Detroit versus Atlanta. This game was a beatdown. I actually don't think the score, the game wasn't as close as the score, and the Lions easily covered that game. I know Atlanta was a trendy pick. I was on the Lions, kind of in the minority, I believe, and so that game was easy. Same with Philly and Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is not very good. Philly is kind of going through the motions, I think. I think they're kind of struggling, stammering a little bit, injuries, but they're still a better team. Eventually, they pulled up in that one, and that was a fairly easy cover. So the 2 winners were fairly easy. The 3 losers, 2 I had to sweat out, and one was a disaster. So we'll take it. We're 2-3 last week, 7-8 overall. We're not even close to being in contention. But maybe the tides will turn this week. Let's take a look at the picks for week 4. There you have it. The full slate. We are starting early Sunday morning with the London game. Now, I tried to simplify my process or change my process a little bit. The first question I asked is, who is the better team in all of the games this week? Right? I want to take the team that's played better if I can. And if I can get them with points, I'll take them with points. Or if I have to take a favorite, let's look at a favorite that's in a decent spot. So this game here, there's absolutely no question in my mind. Atlanta has been the better team this season. So they've been better than the Jags. What we don't know about Atlanta is, can they play on the road? Ritter has a history, even going back to college, of not being very good on the road. And they got smashed in Detroit. Now they're going to London, where Jacksonville does have some experience. But the reason I like the Jags in this game, there are 2 teams, I think, that are absolutely desperate for wins this week. And Jacksonville is one of them. So you've got Atlanta with question marks on the road. Jacksonville in a desperate situation. They've got to win with experience in London. I'm going to swallow the 3 points. I'm going to take Jacksonville across the pond against the Atlanta Falcons. Game number 2, Dolphins and Bills. I've got Miami as the best team in the NFL right now. I have no idea why they're underdogs in this game. The only thing I can think of is that Miami at Buffalo, Miami struggles at Buffalo. I don't know what happened last year, but what I do remember is I wish it were colder shirts. So I think they played this game in December, late in the season, where I do think it would have a negative impact on the Dolphins. Last time I checked the calendar, yeah, it's going to be October. I don't think the weather's going to be that bad. I just think Miami's an absolute juggernaut right now. If you listen to the other show with Phil McNasty, you know we've got a sword fight on this game. He likes Buffalo. I like Miami. I will have no problem taking Miami and 3 points, knowing that they can score whenever they need to. And I think Buffalo's a little banged up, especially on defense, especially in the secondary. You don't want to see Miami rolling into town under those conditions. So I'll take Miami plus 3. I think, well, one other note. I think I looked this up, and I could look it up again right now, but I'm not going to. I think in the summer, this line was Miami plus 5.5. So I think there has been some adjustment for Miami. Is 2.5 points enough for Miami? I don't know. I still think this game should be closer than 3. And again, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure Miami should be a dog. Basically, you're saying if you give in 3 points for home field advantage, which I'm not sure anybody is anymore, you're saying these are equal teams. I think Miami is better than Buffalo, flat out. So that's that. Miami plus 3. Pittsburgh and Houston. Now, this one breaks my heart. And it probably will break my heart on Sunday when I'm watching the games. Houston has played better than Pittsburgh. The Pittsburgh offense has been atrocious. Okay, they were decent against the Raiders, but they got a bunch of turnovers. They were terrible against Cleveland when their defense scored 2 touchdowns. And so here you've got Houston. Houston's played pretty well. CJ Stroud has played pretty well. You've got an offensively limited coach and team in Pittsburgh going up against a defensive head coach and a team that's got a little bit of optimism in the Houston Texans. Under normal circumstances, I probably would never even look at this game. But I went through my analysis. I went game by game. I looked to see which of these 2 teams has played better. And if they were getting points, I tried to stay on that side. So this game right here is more of a math analysis calculation game. I'm going to take Houston plus 2.5 against Pittsburgh. I don't feel real comfortable about it because usually I love Pittsburgh. It's like Pittsburgh could go in there and smash Houston. Great defense against a team that's, borderline NFL quality team. But I'm going to go the other way. I went the other way against Pittsburgh last week and lost. We're going to do it again. See if we come out on the other side of this one. The Rams visiting the Indianapolis Colts. Another situation here. Which of these 2 teams has been better this year? It's the Rams. The Rams smashed Seattle, who looked to be a fairly decent team. They lost to the 49ers by 7 in that weird kick a field goal at the end of the game, cover the spread situation. And they went into a tough situation last week against the Bengals on the road. Monday Night Football, desperate Bengals team. Burrow to chase. They couldn't stop it. They ended up losing by 3. I'm not sure the game was that close. But I think the Colts are a different animal to the Bengals. I think the Colts are actually riding high a little bit. I think the Colts are a little bit overvalued, a little bit overrated. And when I looked at the stats, if you told me you're going to go Seattle, San Francisco, Bengals, I think, gosh, that's a tough opening stretch. And I think the Rams have handled it pretty well. So I'm not getting any points. I'm not giving any points. I'm looking at who's the better team? It's an indoor game, not much adjustment. The Rams don't get much of a bump from home field at all. So I don't think it's any big whoop that they're playing on the road here indoors. I don't know what their travel plans were. I don't know if they went back to LA and then back to Indianapolis. If they did, they probably shouldn't have. So I don't think travel is going to be an issue. I think they've been the better team. We've got question marks with Anthony Richardson. It looks like he's going to play. For how long, we don't know. Is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? I'm not sure. There's question marks there. I think there's some stability with the Rams. Just win the game. It's not easy to win on the road. It's not easy for average, mediocre teams to win on the road. But I like what the Rams have done so far this season. They've been better than I expected. I think they're better than the Colts. We'll see what happens tomorrow. I'm taking the Rams. Pick them. And last but not least, this is another one that's kind of, that's going to be a little nervy. The Giants hosting the Seahawks on Monday Night Football. I mentioned this earlier with Jacksonville. The other most desperate team in the NFL is the New York Giants. They're coming off extended rest. Okay, so they played last Thursday against the 49ers when they got blasted. So they're coming off a loss. They're playing at home on Monday night. Daniel Jones has been absolutely terrible in primetime games. So I'm aware of that. I don't love that. But I'm still going to go with the Giants. The Seahawks, I don't know. They lost to the Rams. They beat the Lions on the road, which is a quality win. Right? Then they beat Carolina. Carolina was kind of a trendy pick last week. Covered the spread by more than 10. I like to fade teams that are coming off a big ATS number. So this one, again, it's going to be flip a coin. I'm going with the motivation factor here. The Giants have to win this game. And if you look at the Giants' resume, let's say they do win this game, and you're saying after 4 weeks, they lost to the Cowboys, they lost to the Giants, and they won their other 2 games. You can't really say that they're in a bad spot. That's probably about what they should be if they finish this 4-game stretch to open the season at 2-2. You would probably guess to start the season they were going to be 2-2. But everybody's down on them. The Giants stink. The Giants are terrible. Yeah, we know about Saquon Barkley's injury. He'll get healthy. I think the offensive line, the injury reports were somewhat optimistic. They get an extra day of rest for Monday night, and they're home Monday Night Football. The other added thing here, conspiracy theory for the NFL. If you're a conspiracy theorist, A, they're going to want this game close. B, they're probably going to want the Giants to win. Keep the Giants relevant. Keep the New York market relevant because we know what's happening with the other team in New York. Could have picked Kansas City too. I think Kansas City's going to smash in that game. But I'm going with the Giants just to win against Seattle. To level up their record, 2-2, stay in contention, stay in the headlines, and proceed and progress into a borderline playoff squad. So there you have it. There's the recap. Hopefully we do better this week than last week. I got different picks. Some of these picks you would never see on one of my cards prior to this season. But I'm going Jacksonville to cover 3 points as a favorite in London against the Falcons. I think I've got the best team in football in Miami getting points. I'm going math. Steelers and Houston. Give me Houston. And I got 2 pick'em games. Give me the Rams, who I think are the better team. Give me the Giants, who I think are the more motivated team. Must win at home Monday night. Those are the picks for week 4. Hopefully we've got a 5-0 card. We'll see. Take it easy. Have a good week. Enjoy the games. Peace.